It's Dr. Freeze. And he's broken out of his jail. Later that day, Diesel 10 was actually working for once. He needed to go through a tunnel, but... What was that? He wondered. He then remembered when he pulled a prank on Thomas in that very same cave. Oh, it's probably Thomas trying to prank me, he thought. But then Thomas passed by. What? He cried, so he ran away scared. I wonder what scared Diesel 10, Thomas thought. He headed over to the cargo yard to pick up some coal. Superman was there. Hi Superman, what are you doing here? Thomas asked. Well, all of the bad guys are in jail and I was getting a bit bored, so I thought I'd give you some help, said Superman. Oh, thank you Superman, said Thomas. So he loaded Thomas's trucks with coal. There you go, he said. Now if you need any more help, just let me know. Thanks Superman, said Thomas, and he left. Now he needed to use that tunnel. What was that? Thomas wondered. Maybe it's Diesel 10 again, he thought. So he stormed in. But it wasn't Diesel 10. It was Dr. Freeze and his pet dinosaur. Thomas ran away as quickly as he could. The dinosaur started destroying things. Oh dear. Thomas ran back to Superman. Superman! Dr. Freeze is loose on Sodor with a huge dinosaur, cried Thomas. Uh-oh. Maybe I'll need some help, Superman thought. So he flew off to get reinforcements. He ran into Iron Man and Spider-Man. Guys, I need your help. Dr. Freeze is loose on Sodor with a dinosaur, explained Superman. Yeah, we can help, cried Spider-Man. We'll need a plan though, said Iron Man. We'd like to help too, said Thomas. Fantastic, said Superman. So they came up with a plan. Nearby. Come and get me! They chased Iron Man. Now! Thomas arrived, pulling a long line of trucks. Then Percy pushed some more trucks into place and ran away. Huh? Superman then closed them in. got him! Dr. Freeze tried to freeze Iron Man, but he accidentally froze his dinosaur instead. Oh no! Spider-Man crept in behind him and tied him up with web. They got him. Well done everyone, said Superman. So they locked Dr. Freeze up and made sure he couldn't escape this time.
Thomas and James loved steaming around the rails in the swamp. To them, the bridges seemed like roller coasters. Same time tomorrow, said James to Thomas. Definitely, said Thomas. But that night it rained. It rained a lot. Thomas and James came back the next day. What they didn't know was that the swamp had a lot more water in it. One of the bridge supports then started moving with their weight. Then there was trouble. All the movement had caused the bridge track to loosen. James was heading for the bridge. Up the slope and... James broke the track and got stuck, hanging in between the track pieces. Helpless, he couldn't move. Thomas came up to him. "Are you all right, James?" he said. "Yes," said James, "but please get me down." Thomas steamed off to get some help for his friend. He left the swamp and went to find Ryan. "Help," said James. Thomas found Ryan, who followed him back to the swamp with the breakdown crane, Jerome. "Ryan's here with Jerome," said Thomas. "Thank you," said James. "I'm just going to reverse and Jerome will pull you," said Ryan, and he started reversing. Thomas was reassuring his friend that everything was going to be all right as Jerome got into position. Ryan and Jerome then started pulling, and slowly James got back on the track. "Oh yes, thank you," said James. "Now to repair the track," said Ryan. James and Thomas moved back a little, and Jerome lifted the track into place. An engineer then joined the pieces together. "All done," said the engineer. Thomas tried the bridge first, and then they all had a go. Thanks for watching our story, which used the new Trackmaster Switchback Swamp track set. It doesn't include the Thomas engine going around the track now, but does have two wonderful bridges which give a lot of headroom to the engines going underneath. It also includes 2 points for attaching other track to. The green track of the bridges looks great when added to a bit of landscaping as shown in our story. "You first," said Percy to Thomas. Thomas left, followed by Percy. It was their day off and they were going racing, but they were told that there was a new Thomas Mini for them each to race if they could find it. Thomas found one first, by the tunnel. He picked it up and returned. Percy then found one and also returned to Thomas so they could open them together. Thomas opened his first. He got a Space Spencer with a space shuttle on his side. "He's going to be fast," said Thomas. Percy opened his. "I've got a Swamp Monster Samson. He looks funny," said Percy, "but at least he's green, like me." "Come on, let's go to the beach racetrack," said Thomas, and they left. When they got there, the Thomas and Spencer launchers were already in place. The two new engines were allowed to sit out the first round, and the existing 12 were paired, fastest one in each pair going through to the second round. "One of us stands a good chance of winning," said Thomas. "There are 3 of each of us." First to go was Launcher Thomas against Mining Percy. Well, not the smoothest way to get down the track, but Launcher Thomas won. "Well done, Thomas," said Percy. "Good race." Next was Classic Henry against Spooky Emily. They both turned as they went down the track, but Spooky Emily went the farthest. Good win for Emily. Now it's Spooky Percy against Launcher Spencer. Spooky Percy toppled over at the end, but went farthest. "I've got one engine through now," said Percy. Classic Edward against Shiny James. Oh, Edward turned right round, leaving James to win. Classic Thomas against Robin Percy. Percy came off the track, leaving Thomas to win again. Last to go in round 1, Batman Thomas against Spooky Salty, who looks like a pirate. Spooky Salty overturned, and Batman Thomas went on to win. So now Spencer and Samson join in, making 8 engines in round 2, and 3 of them are Thomas's. Launcher Thomas against Shiny James. I think Thomas took off, but he certainly went the farthest. Classic Thomas against Spooky Emily. Quite close, but Emily toppled over. Classic Thomas wins. Batman Thomas against Swamp Monster Samson. Close again, but Samson overturned. Batman Thomas wins. Space Spencer against Spooky Percy. Spencer fell over and Percy reached the end of the track. Well done, Percy. So our 4 semi-finalists consists of 3 Thomases and a Percy. The 2 of them were very pleased. So first we have Launcher Thomas against Classic Thomas. Launcher Thomas flipped tracks, but it still counts. He makes the final. Batman Thomas against Spooky Percy. They both tumble, but Percy clearly wins. So the final is Launcher Thomas against Spooky Percy. Whoa, not very pretty, but Thomas lands in the trees, well past the end of the track. Unlucky Spooky Percy, but today's winner is Launcher Thomas. Well done.
Molly is a bright yellow engine on the Isle of Sodor. One of her main jobs is to carry empty trucks, but some of the other engines tease her about it. One day, Molly had to stop at a crossing to let another train go by. It was James. "Thanks for letting a more important train pass by, Molly," he said. "Oh, more empty trucks, I see. Soon, Sir Topham Hatt will let you carry full trucks like a really useful engine." Molly felt sad. She didn't feel important at all. Thomas had heard the whole thing and felt sad for Molly. How can I help her? He asked himself, and suddenly had an idea. He came out of the tunnel to greet her. Thomas noticed some tarpaulin by the side of the track. "I have an idea," he said. "How about you cover up your empty trucks with that tarpaulin so that your trucks don't look empty?"
That's a great idea, Thomas. Then I will feel and look like a really useful engine.
And I can tell all of the other engines you have special cargo in your trucks.
Thank you, Thomas. You are a good friend.
So Molly's driver covered up her trucks and she carried on her journey to Brendan Docks. Thomas told Percy about Molly's cargo. Wow, what kind of cargo is it, Thomas? I can't say, replied Thomas, but I know it's really important. Thomas even waited for Toby to pass to tell him too. Whoa, it must be important if it's covered up. Yes, it is. Later, some of the engines were resting at Tidmouth's shed. They were all talking about Molly's important cargo and wondering what it could be, all except Gordon. Bah! Boomed Gordon. I'm sure Molly's cargo is not as important as the Express, and it certainly won't look as important as the Express. Oh, but it does, said Thomas. But now he was thinking of a way to make Molly's trucks look more important than Gordon's Express. Then he had another idea. He went to the Sodor garden shop and picked up lots of flowers. He then found Molly. Molly, I have an idea how you can make your trucks look more important. We can decorate them with all of these flowers.
Great idea, Thomas. Thanks.
And Molly's driver covered her trucks with pretty flowers. And on your way to Brenton Docks, make sure you pass as many trains as you can so they could all see how important you are. And Molly excitedly steamed away. It wasn't long before Molly found some other engines, so she stopped to show off. Wow, look how pretty those trucks are, gasped James. Thomas was right. You must have very important cargo in those trucks. Well, yes. Molly, your trucks are very impressive. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe they are just as important as the Express. Molly beamed with pride. She had never felt so important in her life. Even Thomas felt proud for his friend. However, unfortunately for Molly, there was a sudden large gush of wind which blew one of the truck covers off. Huh? These aren't important cargo trucks. These are empty. I knew nothing's as important as the Express. Molly's still pulling useless empty trucks. Molly felt so embarrassed, she quickly puffed away to hide before the engines could tease her anymore. Thomas felt terrible. It was all his fault. Later, Thomas was approaching Chatsworth Station when the station master wanted him to stop. Thomas, I've just received a call from Sir Topham Hatt. Trains are waiting at Brenton Docks for Molly's empty trucks. They can't work without them. It is really important that Molly takes the empty trucks to Brenton Docks right away. Oh no, I'll go look for her. Soon, Thomas did find Molly. What's wrong, Molly?
I wish I was a more important engine.
But taking the empty trucks is important, Molly. No other engines can do their jobs without the trucks. I'd say it's just as important as Gordon's Express.
Yes, I guess it is important. Thanks, Thomas. You are a good friend. I'll take them to Brenton Docks right away.
Gordon had to stop at a signal. Why do I have to stop at a signal? Soon Thomas appeared. What's the matter, Gordon? I never have to stop at signals. I've got the Express. I am a really important engine. Other engines should stop to let me through. Maybe you aren't the most important engine right now. The train they were waiting for was Molly. She steamed past with the empty trucks. I guess she does have an important job after all. Hey guys, Chris here. Thanks for watching my video. Hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like it and subscribe if you haven't already. Click on any of these links to watch another video. Go on. Hope to see you soon. Bye.